Thank you very much for the floor. If I have a look at my watch, I should thank you for your attention already, but I will try to be a bit faster so that we stick to the agenda. As has been said, my name is Ivan Schmidt, and my goal will be to talk to you about the outcomes of the analytical study of the We Are Equal project and the individual stages of that project. The main goal of these analytical studies is mapping the present situation of assistance for people with disabilities, and also the analysis of the work of motivators in the field. As we have heard, data and data analysis is very important, and this is where I see the internal motivation of the project's leaders to monitor these changes and the situation which arises, also the efficiency of work of our motivators to make sure that it is as good as possible. So first of all, I would like to talk about methodology, how we collected these data. The first survey was the survey for institutions, which we sent to individual institutions, and this survey was sent to selected state bodies, especially the labor offices, but also self-governing regions and district municipalities. The survey was composed of several questions, and now perhaps if I move to the next slide, I'm sorry. If I could tell you more about the questions, then at the beginning of the survey we tried to find out the basic demographic data, the location of the institutions and units. Then we were asking about how they perceive the work of motivators, whether they have any information about such work, and whether they can imagine a cooperation with a motivator. Then another point of methodology was the survey for people with disabilities, which was sent to these people, and this is how we got data. This also had some demographic data at the beginning, where we acquired information like age, gender, family situation, type of disability, and so on. Then we got information from our respondents as to whether they have some information about this project, whether they want to participate, what they think about it, what is their situation, also what they think about the system of assistance for these people. Now allow me to talk a little bit about the individual studies, and they have three parts. The pilot study was the first one, and it was intended to get the basic information about how the system works and also to map the market. The second study was the first testing study, where we focused on the specific efficiency of work of our motivators. And within the third study, which is currently in the stage of data collection, and this will be to monitor the progress and the changes that happened in certain time periods. If you allow me, I would like to get back to methodology a bit to tell you about how we worked with the data. First of all, we had to adjust data for statistical processing, because the survey consisted of various types of questions. Some of them, for some of them, there was a selection of answers, either one or more of them, so we had to quantify these questions, because it wasn't always about numbers, so we had to change this a bit. Then the content analysis was used for open answers, so questions for which the respondents could answer freely. And after this adjustment, the data was processed using the SPS and YASP statistical systems for the analysis of relations, median values, analysis of frequencies, and so on. Then we had a recalculation, so using a method to make sure that we reach correct results, that there is no distortion, and so on. Now, please allow me to move to the first study, that's the pilot study, and a survey which was intended for people with a disability. The main topics that we followed within this survey could be summarized into 4 basic categories. The first is the life situation of people with disabilities, then the experienced contentness of these people and the interest of improving their life situations, then the perception of the system of social science, social services provision, and then the work of motivators as a possibility to improve the life situation of people with disabilities. Perhaps I would like to add that within presenting these results, I can't really describe all of them, so I try to select the most important ones. The other information can be found in a document which will be published on the website of the project. So let's move to the first analysis. It would be good to say at the beginning that the situation of people with a disability in Slovakia, according to the results, is bad and people need some sort of assistance. The first question that we tried to use in this regard is whether they would accept help in their life situation from people with similar life experience. 51% in general said that they would make use of this assistance, which we think is a very nice indicator of the work efficiency. Within this question, within the open questions, we also asked what specific help or assistance would people be interested in. So here you can see the charts, and here is the table within which we see that the respondents said to the question what you miss the most to improve your life experience, and the biggest categories which we identify, which our respondents consider to be the most important, is the feeling of being acknowledged, more physical resilience, mental comfort perhaps, and better financial situation as well.
V rámci ďalšej analýzy sme
Further analysis was focused on how our respondents see the services and activities directed at the assistance for people with disabilities in Slovakia. As you may see in the chart, if we aggregated these data, we could say that more than 70% of people are not happy with how assistance and support is provided to people with disabilities. I think that there is this room for our motivators to improve this aspect.
v rámci ďalšej analýzy
Further analysis showed, or we were asking our respondents whether they know what social services they are entitled to and where they can request it. Here you see that more than 40% of our respondents don't know where to request information and what they are entitled to. So this is the picture of where our motivators can be active and what information can they provide to our respondents. We try to analyze this question also in various groups. So we try to distribute them into categories men and women and also age categories. What we found is that there weren't any significant differences between men and women, but statistically significant differences were among age groups. The group from 30 to 49 or to 60 years are the best informed, so we have to focus on the younger as well as the elderly population. The next item we were focusing on whether our respondents know about the financial support for employment, entrepreneurship, for people with disabilities and for work assistance. Here we again see where we can apply the help of our motivators, because more than 70% of our respondents don't have information about how they can ask for this form of assistance. We also made an analysis, and we found out we found out no statistically significant differences. The only point was the income. People with sufficient income have sufficient information as well. So the information really changes the life situation of our respondents and clients, and this is the representation of that. In terms of the content analysis, we were finding out what the demand for information is connected to life conditions. The analysis showed that people are most interested in information in terms of rights and assistance and financial assistance for people, as well as integration into ordinary life and raising awareness as well. The pilot study also included the question whether our respondents know some communities or clubs which are for people with disabilities in their surroundings, and whether they help there to improve their life experience. 50% say that they don't know such communities, so there is a large room to find potential clients. One of the last analyses which we did within the pilot study is the question where our respondents would accept help from a motivator. What we have seen is assistance from a motivator is very much demanded. I try to highlight information which can be used by motivators to work with directly in green, and the red part means that our motivators have a secondary impact in these. So let's move to the pilot study and to the survey or questionnaire which was sent to the institutions. The main topics which were followed is the present situation in terms of the provision of support, help for people with disabilities, as well as information in the market and whether these institutions have this information. Well, our sample was not sufficient to be able to perform different statistics, perhaps to see which institutions have a better cooperation with our motivators, but we have concluded or reached some general conclusions which are valuable for institutions, early intervention centers, as well as motivators. Here you can see the sample, and we analyzed answers to questions: what is the rate of information of individual institutions about the work of our motivators? Here in the chart you can see that it's non-existent basically, and this result is also confirmed by other questions, whether they can imagine cooperation, where you can also see that institutions need more information. This was also supported by the third question, whether you think that it would be good to include the activity of motivators within early intervention services for people with disabilities. The question or the answer was that more information is necessary, so perhaps we should improve in terms of the marketing strategy to specify some goals with individual institutions so that we can find our common ground.
Poďme teda k tej prvej testovacej štúdii, ktorá už bola viac.
Let's move to the first testing study, which was more focused on work efficiency of our motivators. The main topics included the need for the changes to improve the lives of people with disabilities, social work as a form of getting information, as well as the happiness of clients with participation in the project We Are Equal. The goal of this study was to get a representative sample of people who participate in the project and who do not participate. The reason was that it was necessary to perform analysis and to compare the group which participates in the project and which does not, what the effect on the quality of life is as well. At the beginning, I would like to highlight that respondents who were participating in the project were happier in terms of the project, And this is the most important finding from this study for me. I would like to direct your attention to the findings in the efficiency of work of the motivators. First of all, we were interested in where our respondents got their information about the individual centers and the work of motivators from. Here you can see that the biggest source of information is the work of motivators itself, as well as information from acquaintances or friends or even social networks.
V ďalšej analýzy sme sa snažili aj na skupinu respondentov.
Within the next analysis, we tried to look at a group of respondents who are not part of the project, and we wanted to ask them whether they would like to participate. As you can see in the chart, you can see that there is some kind of willingness to participate in the project, but the information is necessary, so we have to work on these things, and this also represents that we have potential clients. Please allow me to move to a specific analysis of respondents who participated in the project and what were the specific results which talk about the efficiency of work of our motivators. As you may see within the first analysis, our respondents were asked to what extent the participation in the project contributes to improving their lives. If you look at the chart, you see that respondents understand very positively, which shows that the work efficiency in improving the quality of life is really good. This also applies to areas of new social contacts where the respondents answered very positively as well.
Taktiež, ak sa pozrieme.
Also, if you look at the degree of the presence on the labor market, was again positive evaluation and confirmed that motivator helped them to find a job. Very positive findings were also identified regarding physical condition and also regarding information on free time activities, working on self-sufficiency and independence, improving of physical condition, obtaining financial contributions and allowances, also selection of adequate compensatory tools. What was also found or identified was the results regarding finding of adequate assistant. Positive results were also when analyzing the removing barriers in households, securing social services was the next one. And now allow me to present this short chart, which is summarizing all the findings into one. It was clear that in all areas we decided to analyze, our motivators show a great efficiency of work. First, 4 basic or the most effective ways. It's the selection of the correct tools, improvement of mental conditions, obtaining information regarding free time activities, also obtaining financial contributions and allowances. To conclude the first test survey in this questionnaire, we also tried to find out, would you recommend participating on this project to someone else? You can see now how strong and how satisfied and how strongly our clients would recommend to participate. I will now continue with the questionnaire or survey of institutions. I would like to pay your attention to the fact, the possibility on informing on the possibilities to cooperate on the project. While analyzing, we identified that even though some time has passed, the provided information is still looks quite insufficient, and many people cannot imagine how the ways of cooperation, the possibilities of cooperation. So there is interest, and it is an improvement compared to the former study. but there's still room to improve. Next analysis helped also to identify, so as they cannot really picture the ways of cooperation, the answers appear to be more negative, that they don't cooperate. I would like to contribute here that what needs to be worked on is the identification and definition of how the cooperation with institutions should look like. What are the reasons? As we found out that there is no cooperation, we try to find the reasons why. And this sample of institutions confirmed that they don't have sufficient information, that they need to receive information regarding the possibilities of cooperation. And a short summary at the end, and this is for me to conclude my contribution for this conference. So what are the results, what are the findings of our analysis? A motivator can be in the life of a person with disability a big contribution, big benefit, and the results of the survey significantly confirm this fact. And this is to conclude. Thank you for your attention.